How's it going, YouTube? My name is Chris. My channel is called The Body Wish. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the globe. I work in the health and wellness industry, and I help people to achieve and maintain optimal well-being. I do this in part by recommending certain foods that are going to set them up for success and help them sidestep the ones that are going to trip them up for failure. I also help people to improve their mindset. There's nothing like having a higher level of self-confidence married up with good nutrition, and that sets you up for a more successful wellness journey. So tonight I'm going to be talking to you, of course, about diets and some calorie counting, and we'll talk about food cravings. And last but not least, I'm going to delve into an incredibly nutritionally dense solution to help you actually lose weight and keep it off. Not because I say so, but because we have the clinical proof to back it up. It's actually been tested now 7 times. So sit tight. Fasten your seatbelts. Let's dive in. Today's presentation is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disorder. That is the role of your healthcare practitioner. So let's take a couple minutes and talk about food cravings. That's kind of where things start to go off the deep end for a lot of people. There's different schools of thought as to what drives these cravings. Some people take the approach more from the psychological snapshot. In other words, they try and get a better understanding of what's triggering the person, what's the relationship that the person has with food. And I do believe every iota of that is valid. However, I come at it more from the perspective of nutrition because, at its core, food cravings are the body's way of saying, hello, knock, knock, McFly, I need food. I need nourishment. I need nutrients. And see, that's where we've gone off the rails. And when I say we, I should really include the food industry because the industry has gone off the rails. And a lot of people don't understand, what they're dealing with. So it's not your fault. And I'm not saying this to coddle you or to pamper you. This is the state of the food industry as it is today. There are way too many foods in the supermarkets that are nutritionally bankrupt. Foods that are lower in fiber, lower in protein, and they heap on the processed sugar to make it taste good. So it's very alluring. However, you're not nourishing your body, and those cravings become persistent because you're not nourishing your body. But see, most people are not even aware of this. So that's why I put a lot of emphasis on education. I want to help you over the ditch with this because your body is actually a miracle. We just have to learn how to give it what it needs so it can rebuild itself. So if you're such an individual who has been struggling with food cravings and now you're struggling with excessive weight gain, and maybe you even tried to lose the weight, but it comes back, that's another thing we need to talk about, all right? Because most people, if not all, are reaching to some method of calorie deficit. Now, there's a little bit of irony with calorie deficit, and there's some science behind it that says it doesn't work long term. So the irony about it is your body does not know what a calorie is, and yet so many people keep parroting this narrative that the only way to lose weight is to count calories. Well, there's no debate, right? Nobody's going to argue that, yes, you will lose weight. Most people do lose weight in the beginning when they go into calorie deficit because you're starving your body. Now, I don't mean in the literal sense, but you're starving your body of vital nutrients that it needs. All right. So what you're actually doing in a calorie deficit, again, it doesn't know what calories are, meaning the body. What you're actually doing is you're dialing back the amount of fuel that your body needs to operate on. And see, your body needs a certain amount of fuel to run. And when you cut back on this, it starts to look for other sources of energy. And the two places that it looks for are fat and muscle. That's why diets and these drugs now that suppress the appetite, they're called weight loss. They're not called fat loss because you're not just burning fat. And the problem is when you start to burn muscle, your metabolism slows down, and guess what else happens when your metabolism slows down? If I had a drum, I'd do a little drum beat right now as an introduction. Well, I know, pause. It's because you will hit a plateau with burning fat. Yes, it's harder and harder to burn fat. So that is the downside and the outcome of every method of calorie deficit out there. Now, oftentimes you'll hear other influencers, even medical professionals saying, to offset the loss of lean muscle. See, they know that calorie deficit is going to burn off muscle. Now, most of you are looking to this for a solution, right? That's why you're doing calorie deficit. But it's a solution that ends up creating a whole other problem. And that's why so many people hit that brick wall. They end up putting the weight back on, and it gets demoralizing. I don't blame you. But please understand, it's not your fault. It's a limitation of calorie deficit. So if calorie deficit is not all it's cracked up to be, what other options are there? Well, I'd like to share a system. It's a holistic nutritional system that does not operate with calorie deficit. Actually has 7 clinical studies to support its effectiveness, and it was tested against the gold staple of weight loss options in the US, which is the Mediterranean diet. All right, now, if only I had a drum, I could do a drum roll, but I don't. All right, let me show you what I'm talking about. So what you're looking at is a 30-day reset, and you can think of this like a tune-up for a car, except it's a tune-up for the body. And there's 3 core products that come with this system. What this system does is it addresses nutritional deficiency, it addresses stress and toxicity in the body. And the big canister in red text, that's your superfoods. That's going to help make up for the loss of nutrients that unfortunately are no longer abundant in our foods. The 2 little guys in the upper left, those are adaptogens. Adaptogens help us to recover from stress. And then the 2 on the far left, those are what we will take on a day of intermittent fasting. So it's a really brilliant system. I'll break it down for you in the next couple of slides. So first, I want to dig into some of the science, because I do like sharing science with people. So as I said, this was tested against the Mediterranean diet. And the Mediterranean diet is actually not a bad diet at all. But because it relies on calorie deficit, people ended up burning muscle. And everybody who was on the Mediterranean for this study ended up putting the weight back on over the course of a year. Let's look at some of these statistics here. After 8 weeks, in the very first of 7 studies, those who are on the 30-day system lost 56% more weight, twice as much visceral fat. That's the stubborn fat in the belly. That's also the fat that hangs on to toxins. 41% drop in cravings, 25% improvement in gut health, and 6 to 9% more lean muscle. See, if the 30-day was another calorie counting jalopy, whatever you want to call it, people would be losing muscle, not adding muscle. Let me show you how easy the system is to take now. So, 30-day system, first core product, runners take your mark. We've got superfoods. We're going to consume these superfoods. We'll replace 2 of our regular meals. So we're going to have them twice a day. Replace 2 of your 3 meals. And what you get for less than a Starbucks, you're going to get all 90 key nutrients. They're low glycemic, 36 grams of protein, yahoo, plant or whey-based. You take your pick, or take them both. Gluten-free, essential vitamins and minerals, soy-free, no artificial, any doodads. They come in a variety of delicious flavors. These are great for people with busy schedules. What you don't get is microbial activity, heavy metals, fungicides, herbicides, pesticides, dioxins, PCBs. I know I probably just disappointed you, right? Sarcasm. All right, so that's what we're going to take for the first 6 days of each week. On day number 7, we're going to do a day of intermittent nutritional fasting. And this product here has 16 detoxifying botanicals. These are herbs that help the liver more efficiently rid the body of these awful contaminants that we're all exposed to. Unfortunately, the environment has gotten more contaminated over the decades. So guess what? When the body can't eliminate these toxins, they end up sitting in those fat cells. So what this does on the day of intermittent fasting is it helps to convert those toxins from fat soluble to water soluble, so you can eliminate them from the body, and then the fat cells shrink in size. So you not only detoxify, you get that added benefit of weight loss. You know, yahoo, that's all good in the hood. The third and final product comes in the form of adaptogens. Adaptogens help us to recover from stress. And when I started taking this system, I got on the system 4 years ago, the adaptogens I noticed really helped take the edge off. And that's what adaptogens do. So really easy, simple system to follow. No counting calories, none of the mental gymnastics that go with that. And by God, it works like nobody's business. And not because I say so. We've got 7 clinical studies published in the top medical journals that says, you know what? This thing works, and it works really well. It's simple. It's bank account friendly. It's got so many pluses. Even has a 30-day money back if you don't like it. So you can actually go through the whole thing. And if you don't like it, you can send it right on back from where it came from. All right, so I want to share a resource with you, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Let's get to that time of the day. Now, this is a website you can look up. It's also available on my home channel here on YouTube. It's called thebodywish.wordpress.com. When you get to the home page, go up to products, click on nutritional system, Bob's your uncle, and you'll find a lot of great information on there, much of which I've just shared with you now. And at no extra charge, there's even a cool 3-minute video that gives you a whole rundown of how the system works, a little bit of the science. Worth taking a look at. You know, sometimes in life we don't know what we don't know unless we take that extra step and we do some investigation on our own. So on that note, I am going to drop off. Please subscribe to my channel. I will be always providing holistic wellness tips, improved mindset, and a couple of other doodads that I can't think of right now. But I will always guarantee you some of my dry humor. So on that note, it's been an honor to be here. My name is Chris. My channel is The Body Wish, and I'm the man with the yellow hat and the microphone. Farewell. Ciao for now.